Blue Lipstick, Concrete Poems by John Granditz. Okay, maybe blue lipstick's not quite right for Jessie, and maybe her new hairstyle isn't either. But at least she's never boring or predictable. Who else do you know who plays volleyball and cello, designs her own clothes, and writes poetry to her cat? Jessie's definitely a girl with strong opinions, and she isn't shy about sharing them. Of course, that sometimes leads to friction with her parents, her younger brother, her classmates, and certain English teachers who assign totally lame homework. But she's also not afraid to change her mind about some things. Jessie's funny, sarcastic take on high school life is revealed through concrete poetry. Words, ideas, type, and design that combine to make pictures and patterns. The poems are inventive, irreverent, irresistible, and full of surprises, just like Jessie. Jessie, wake up. Eat your cereal. What's wrong with you? You look totally out of it. Didn't you sleep well last night? Bad hair day. Lisa had this cool idea to do my hair a totally extreme way. I said, let's go for it. So after school, we went to the drugstore and bought some hair bleach and some blue dye. That was even on sale. First, we stripped out my natural color with the bleach, which made me look ancient, like I had turned into my grandmother. That was so scary. We put the blue dye on right away. Then something went really wrong. One side of my hair was all limp and pale, and the other side was blue. It was a disaster, Lisa said. Wait till it dries. But that didn't help at all. My hair just felt crispy instead of soft, and it didn't even have that glistening thing going on anymore. Lisa started crying. I'm so sorry, she said. Do you want to borrow some scarves to wear to school? I sent her home. I couldn't go to school. I'd be totally humiliated. My life was ruined. I was seriously thinking about shaving my head, telling everyone I had cancer, and saying, it's a miracle. I'm cured once my hair grew back. When Mom came home, she said, honey, what's wrong? And I started crying, and I couldn't stop. But finally, I got the story out, and she said, Jessie, every woman makes the big, big hair mistake once in her life. Some women do it over and over. Tomorrow when you go to school, just hold your head high and say, this is the way I planned it. Then she gave me a hug, and I went to my room to cry some more. Only I didn't cry. I actually felt a little better. Mom called me a woman. The wall. Life is simpler if you have a wall. It keeps away people who drag you down. Like this girl I knew in 7th grade, Agnes. We were really sort of friendly. I told her I liked her tank top. She insisted that I borrow it. It sort of got ruined, an accident. She insisted that I pay her for it. I paid her for it. Then she forgot I paid her for it. She conveniently forgot I paid. My mother said, it's not worth the grief, and went over to Agnes's house and paid her mother, even though I already paid Agnes. And that was that. You've got to be careful who you make friends with. So now, I've got this wall. Talking to my stupid younger brother is like swimming upstream in a river to nowhere. Burp. Excuse me. Robert, say excuse me. What? Say excuse me when you burp. You're supposed to say excuse me. Why? Because that's what you do. Right. Like you always do everything you're supposed to do. You always pick up your room. You always come home on time for dinner. You always tell Mom and Dad exactly where you're going and who you're going to be with. Yeah, whatever. But I always say, excuse me, because it's good manners. Achoo. Excuse me. You don't have to say, excuse me, after you sneeze. Really? Why not? Because when you sneeze, I'm supposed to say, God bless you. So you ask God to bless me? That's a real laugh. God must put that in the funny pages of the Daily Heaven News. Shut up. You shut up. No, you shut up.
No, you shut up.
You shut up. Zombie jocks. Trophy. Trophy, 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 trophy. Zombie jocks, we want the trophy. Trophy, trophy, give us the trophy. Give us the zombie jocks the trophy. Football, baseball, we will win 'em. When we wrestle, we must pin 'em. Soccer, hockey, we will skin 'em. On our bikes, you bet we'll schwinn 'em. Don't like music, art, or science? We prefer the Rams and Giants. Don't like movies, don't like dancing. Don't like dating or romancing. Trophy, 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 trophy. Zombie jocks must have the trophy. Shiny, shiny, pretty trophy with our names engraved on trophy. Pep rally. Why do they force us to come to these stupid pep rallies? I don't want to be here. I'm not feeling peppy, and the pep rally isn't helping. These things are only set up so that the cheerleaders can show off, and all the boys can drool over them, especially Andrea Herkimer. I don't actually hate Andrea, since we've never spoken, but if we ever did speak, I would hate her. Mondrian. Dad and I went to the Art Institute. There was a show of work by Mondrian, and the guy totally rocks. He did these paintings with just boxes and lines, and he only used black and yellow and blue and red. I mean, he didn't mix his colors at all. It was so simple and so elegant. I said, I wish I could do that when I grow up. Make ultra cool radical art. Dad said, it's not easy to be creative. And I thought to myself, you wouldn't believe how creative I have to be just to get through the day. He said, it's tough being an artist. You've got to struggle for years. People often misunderstand your work. You've got to be thick-skinned because critics can be cruel. You don't have any money, and in many ways, you're really alone. And I said, this sounds like high school. Go look in the mirror. Dad says, you may not leave the house like that, and don't you care about your appearance at all? And just look at yourself, young lady. He throws his hands in the air like he's seeking divine intervention. I roll my eyes, but I go over to the mirror. My hair is long on one side, short on the other, blue streaked and lightly tousled. I have on a Dead Butt Bunny's Rock t-shirt with a wide neck so you can see one black bra strap. A totally hot plaid skirt I made myself, a bike chain with a lock for a belt, black tights with red fishnets over them, and white anklets over those, and black Doc Martens. I am dragging a ripped leather jacket with blood-red paint splatters on the left arm. I checked my earrings. They're all there. I'm perfect. Suburb of Atlantis. I went to Sylvia's psychic shack yesterday to get this new kind of tarot deck that has pictures of dead rock stars instead of the regular pictures. But Sylvia said she didn't carry those cards because they might give off bad vibrations. Whatever. So I was looking around, and Sylvia was talking to another customer, and the woman said, no, I wasn't from Atlantis itself. I was from one of those small islands off Atlantis. And even though I wasn't part of the conversation, I said, you mean like in a past life you lived in Atlantis? She said, yeah. And I said, and you didn't even live in the town? You lived in some wanky suburb? And she said, well, the schools were better. And I said, what kind of SUVs did they drive in this suburb of Atlantis? She acted all put out, and Sylvia gave me an evil look, but I didn't care. It just proved to me that no matter how many times they're reincarnated, some people drag their totally boring karma around with them forever. A chart of my emotional day. Woke up feeling pretty good. Realized it was Saturday. I had a cello lesson, and I hadn't practiced. Lugged the cello to the car and saw my neighbor, Katrin. Swapped gossip. Cello lesson even worse than I expected. Bummed. Went over to Elton Simpson's house to see if he was outside shooting hoops. He was. But Lisa was there too. They were talking and joking and laughing together. Totally bummed. Walked home with Lisa. She said Elton kept asking about me, what I liked and what kinds of things I liked to do. Caught my stupid younger brother trying to superglue my bedroom door shut. Stomped off to tell Dad. Robert managed to superglue his hand to my bedroom door. He was totally defenseless. Ha! Found a note from Mom. No snacks this afternoon. Making tuna surprise tonight. Mom changed the menu. ordered broccoli pizza instead. Robert forced to eat his slice standing and glued to my door. Homework. Had to come up with a stupid chart for math class. Called Lisa. Bed. My brother, the genius. At lunch on Saturday, I was telling my brother about phrenology. That's the ancient art of reading people's personalities by examining the bumps on their head. He said, "Sounds like ancient superstition to me." I said, "No, it really works." And he said, "Prove it. Read my bumps." So I put on a good act. I ran my hands over his scalp and said stuff like, "Your math skills are excellent," and "You're a natural athlete," and "Girls are attracted to you." Boy, did he eat it up. "Maybe there's more to this than I thought," he said. Then I did a dramatic pause. "Uh-oh," I said. And he said, "What? Tell me." And I said, "Well, I'm afraid you'll never be a scientist. In fact, instead of a bump in the science area, you have a dent." Of course he got all freaked out and said that he had to be a scientist. It was the only thing he ever wanted to be. Like I didn't know. So I acted all sympathetic and I said, "Lucky for you, there's an ancient way to correct those things." Then I smacked him on the head with my soup spoon. He yelped and rubbed the spot. "Feel that?" I asked. "That's your science bump. Now you can be a famous scientist." I smiled sweetly. Then I added, "Do you want to be a famous artist too?" That's when he made a grab for me, and I ran to my room and unlocked the door. All my important thinking gets done in the shower. The next time Mom and Dad go out, I could trick Robert into going down to the basement, figure out some way to block the door and leave him there. If I took down all the posters on my wall, I could paint a huge mural of the 7 Earth goddesses. That would be awesome. College, college, college. Enough about college. I wonder if there's an art school that teaches you how to do tattooing and piercing. I hate zoos. I wouldn't want to be stuck in a cage. But petting zoos are a lot of fun. I should start a petting zoo for vegetables. Maybe I could get a job this summer. Then if I saved enough money and I got my learner's permit, I could buy a motor scooter. Football is so stupid. I bet it would be a lot less violent if the players wore tutus and ballet shoes. Mom's tossing the laundry room curtains because Robert got bleach on them. They would totally make a cool skirt. Perverse. Booboo, Kitty is laying down a mellow track. Cat poetry. It's sweet. It's fine. Even the smoothest rapper can't come close to the Booboo Kitty sound. She's more laid back than any human could ever be. She just sits on my lap, the Buddha of poetry, and purrs. Don't need speakers, don't need earphones, don't need a $35 ticket. All I gotta do is make my lap available for the concert. Advanced English. I don't think I'm in love with Elton Simpson, but, well, I definitely like him. The thing is, I don't have much to say to him. I mean, what do you guys talk about anyway? What am I going to say? How about that Bears game last night? Not likely. But here's the deal. Elton got into advanced English. I didn't. His teacher, Mr. Fox, posted the class's required reading list. So I'm thinking, I'll read all the books too. That way, when I see Elton, we can talk about them, and we'll have this soul-revealing intellectual connection. It took me like a million years to read all the books, because I also had a list to get through for my English class. But I made little notes so I could remember stuff. Then I sort of casually bumped into Elton at school. I've been thinking, wasn't it funny in Tom Sawyer when Tom and Huck and Joe went to their own funeral, and everybody who hated them before was so sad? I'd love to go to my own funeral and see what people said about me. Wouldn't you? Huh? The funeral in Tom Sawyer. One of the books you have to read for advanced English. Oh, I didn't bother reading those. I just sort of checked them out on the internet. So I don't have a boyfriend. But I've read more books than all the kids in advanced English class I couldn't get into. Volleyball practice. It was tied 20-20, and they had the serve. Mary overhanded it a high looping ball way over the net and deep into our backcourt. A defensive serve. Not a tough serve to return. It just depended on what we did with it. Patty got it and put it up a nice little set to LaShondra. LaShondra sort of freaked and sent a long ball back over the net. At least she didn't leave them a spike. But they were waiting for it. Rosemarie O'Grady took it under hand with 2 fists. It was a beautiful pass. It floated gently into the air to Cassandra, who set it up right in front of the net. Casey was waiting and slammed it. It was a bullet, but LaShondra redeemed. So I pretended to wind up and instead just tipped it over the net. Yes, once again, brains win over brawn. Style? Yeah, I'd love to have my own signature style. Not something preppy or conventional, something interesting that says me. The kind of style that would make a guy look at me and think, hey, that's a girl I'd like to hang out with. Sort of post-punk, urban, too cool to go to the mall style. But do you know what style costs? It's unbelievable. I was in this trendy boutique yesterday called S-Funk. Poofy rainbow skirt, $150. Tank top, $85. Color wash jeans, $139. Crop jean jacket, $268. Embroidered rockstar t-shirt, $130. Studded dog collar necklace, $60. Who can afford all this kind of stuff? I'm a kid. I'm not a hip-hop star. So I make some of my own clothes and shop for what's cheap and unusual and hope that it makes me look interesting. But I have the feeling that when guys see me, they're not thinking style, they're thinking weird. The HUP song. I babysit for my little cousin Natalie all the time. She's great, but her mom, my Aunt Sophie, is kind of a pain. Natalie has to be the best in preschool. Natalie has to have the latest toys and the fanciest clothes. Natalie can't watch TV because she might hear the word stupid. But that's not Natalie's fault. She's great. So last week I was babysitting Natalie, and we were singing songs. I said, let's sing the ABC song. Do you know your letters? And she said, well, I know them, but I only know them mixed up. So we made a song of our own. HUPFJSP XQIALMNOB TYCKDEWZRG. Now I know my HUP's proud of me of, aren't you very? You can imagine how proud Aunt Sophie was. Grown-ups talking. What grade are you in now? My goodness, I remember when you were only this high. Now you're so tall. Do you have a boyfriend? That skirt is just darling. Do you make your own clothes? You're going to be a beauty in a couple of years. Do you want to be a model? A model? Looks don't last. You should learn to cook. Do they still have home ec in high school? Homemaking. That's what made Martha Stewart rich. Are you a cheerleader? A cheerleader? I hope not. You should be on a team. Do you play any sports? Swimming is a good sport for girls. Yes. I definitely think swimming is the sport for you. You can train with me. Angels. Bountiful blessings, devoted attention, remarkable results, unconditional love, good news, glorious visions, celestial dreams, rare opportunities, unexplained kindness, caring gestures, spiritual guidance, rapturous experiences, divine intervention, magical moments, sublime happiness, mystical messages, triumphant truth, metaphysical mysteries, unconditional forgiveness, charitable actions, friendly attitudes, goodwill, helpful advice, unusual tolerance, surprising consideration, heavenly rewards, gentle reminders, compassionate concern, tender mercy, astonishing events, sympathetic thoughts, favorable reviews, amazing grace, unexpected tenderness. I know guardian angels exist. I've seen some unbelievable things, and that's the only explanation. Robert says no way. He says it's either coincidence or the work of aliens that secretly live among us. But I know I'm right, and I've got proof. Like this time in physical education, Lisa's climbing a knotted rope, and she's nearly at the top, and then she loses it. So she's fallen like a million miles straight down, and Miss Coffin just happens to be there standing, get this, catches her. That's the work of a smart angel. Another time, Michael Workman, the dork, is showing off in the school parking lot and almost gets creamed by a toilet paper delivery truck. I swear it looks like someone pushes him out of the way at the last second. But there's no one there. Now that's a stupid angel. The world would be a better place with Michael Workman in a full body cast for a year or two. But still, it's evidence. Guardian angels really exist. There's no way that aliens live among us. Unless Robert is one of them. The bowling party. The volleyball team went bowling. I'd never bowled before, but how tough could it be? Well, I had 15 gutter balls. Hard to believe, yet true. My most successful shot turned out to be the one that started going off straight, but then faded left and knocked over the only 7 pin. I did that 3 times. One frame, I just pushed the ball down the alley. It was looking good, but it was moving so slowly. It knocked over only the 1 pin and then rolled into the gutter. Another time I stumbled, the ball bounced over the gutter and I got a strike in the wrong lane. The automatic scoreboard gave the other team the points. My total score was 4. The next lowest score was 40. I was mortified. But then LaShandra said, "You do better in the next game." And the other team brought me a Coke. And I just had to laugh. Maybe if I work at it, I can bring my average up to 7. My absolutely bad cranky day. Absolutely not. I will not get up. You can't make me. Mr. Krutz is without a doubt the creepiest bus driver we've ever had. Oatmeal? How can you serve this stuff and call it breakfast? I think Michael Workman is seriously deranged. I wonder if you can become an astronaut without knowing algebra. If I have to listen to one more facts about mitosis, I'll scream. We have to read Old Yeller? Give me a break. That's a 6th grade book. I hate the hall. Get out of my way. Lunch stinks. 50 jumping jacks, all I did was complain a little. All the kids I know are boring, boring, boring. Mi vaca se llama Griselda. This is useful. Sarcasm, sarcasm. Dumb assignment. Every single poster is rotten, except mine. No, Scuzzface, you may not sit next to me. Carrots and celery sticks are a lousy after-school snack. I want s'mores. Excuse me, stupid younger brother. Could you possibly be any grosser? Booboo, get down. I'm not your scratching post. Quit it. Rats, 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 rats. I only eat vegetables. I don't eat dead baby cow. I've had a horrible day. I should at least get an hour of TV time. Unbelievable. 3 classes with homework. Very funny, Robert. Now get those oranges out of my bra. Why me? Why can't Robert do the dishes? It's not an excuse. It's a perfectly good reason. I don't wanna. This has been the worst day of my life. Sorry, Mom. I'll be a nicer person tomorrow after I get some Z's. Poems inspired by the free perfume samples at Carson's. School bus driver. Garbage and garlic. Where does he eat his breakfast? The trash can diner? Girls' bathroom. During a dance. Breath mints, bubblegum, jealousy, lies, and gossip. 9th grade witch's brew. Michael Workman. Overbearing jerk, cigarette breath, and B.O. I smell him coming. Bus driver in the PM. Skunk flesh on his shirt. He's been rolling in roadkill. That explains a lot. Essence of lunchroom. Mysterious meats, questionable vegetables, mix, bake, burn, and serve. Aroma du fart. Wrinkle up your nose. Turn your head from side to side. Pretend it's not you. Girls, feeling low, unattractive, unsure of yourself, unable to compete? We have the solution. For as little as $5 a week, we will make you feel good about yourself, and other people will think you're terrific too. Here's how it works. Twice a day, one of us will come and get you and compliment you. Picture yourself in the hall with your friends, and Jessie walks up and says, "Wow, your hair looks great. Did you do something new with it?" Or imagine yourself on the bus, and Lisa hands you some papers and says, "Thanks for loaning me your history homework. You are so smart." $5 for any one category, $2 for each additional category. Just choose from the following. Contact Jessie or Lisa at locker number 154 or 177. Point A to point B. My mother says to me, "No, I will not give you a ride to school. It's only a mile walk." So I calmly explained to her, well, sort of calmly, that I really need a ride because I have an early volleyball practice, and if I walk, I might get there late. And I've just taken a shower and my hair is still wet, and I didn't know it was going to be 20 degrees today. I could get pneumonia. Besides, I promised Lisa I'd loan her my earrings, and she absolutely has to have them first thing this morning, so I need to drop them off to her on her house on the way. And it would be really nice if we could swing by the deli so I could get a hot cocoa because it's freezing out. Then since we'll be in the car anyway, we can pick up some of the girls on the team because I sort of already told them that we would. Okay, it's a lot of detours, and I know from geometry class that the shortest distance between point A and point B is a straight line, but what can I say? My life is more complicated than geometry. Allergic to time. I got a watch for my birthday. It was silver and it had cool numbers. I wore it for a week. Then suddenly, it died. The guy at the repair shop said, "Some people just give off a chemical that stops watches." After that, my alarm clock started acting weird. It refused to buzz, so Dad had to get me up for school. Then 3 days ago, Mom got me a pendant watch. It's beautiful, with little zirconium bits to mark the hours. But yesterday, I felt this strange itch, and when I went to the girls' room, I saw that I had a rash right under the pendant, so I took it off. Duh. And I washed the spot. So I totally missed the school bus and got a big lecture from my parents about responsibility and taking charge of my life. But then Robert said, "Geez, give her a break. It's not like she can help it." And Dad said, "What do you mean, Robert?" in that official parent sort of voice. And Robert said, "Don't you get it? Time hates Jessie. She'll never be on time. She will always be late. It's just the way she is. She's like she has an allergy." There was a long silence while everybody thought about this. Finally, Dad said, "Well, that's a good point, Robert. But Jessie, at least make an effort in the future." And I will. I'll also try to do something nice. But obviously, nice not for my not always stupid younger brother. Silver spandex. Andrea invited me over to see her new electric guitar. She plays in an all-girl band called Rainbow Unicorn, which is the stupidest name in the universe, but whatever. We're not exactly friends, so I say, "Why me? I play the cello." And she says, "I know. I saw your recital, and you were really good." I'm thinking this is going to be weird, but I go anyway. We sit around and talk about music. She doesn't know much about classical, but she's interested. And she asks good questions. Then she shows me her guitar. It's pretty cool. No, it's really cool. In 10 minutes, she teaches me 3 chords, and I can play about 1 billion rock and roll songs. Well, only the rhythm guitar parts, but still. All of a sudden, I'm thinking about being in a hot band. I say, "What's it like to be in a rock group?" And she says, "It's fun, except for all the arguments. We almost killed each other trying to pick a name." Then she says, "What's it like to be in a classical musician?" I tell her it's great, but you have to practice a lot, and none of your friends care about your music, and then you have to practice some more. And I explain about the long skirt problem. A girl cellist has to wear a long skirt, or else the audience can see her underwear. And the skirt always looks dorky. Andrea says, "Well, maybe you should wear, like, silver spandex leggings instead and start a trend. You could be the first classical musician to look hot." That's when it hits me. This girl's not so bad for a cheerleading unicorn. The Name Your Rock Band chart. Your band will have 3,551 arguments before you break up in an explosion of jealousy and anger. Avoid the first big fight. Choosing the band's name. Pick one from each column. Tattoo and tongue stud. I walk into the kitchen. Robert is at the table eating ice cream. I sit down beside him and casually push up my sleeve so he'll see it. My new tattoo. It says, sex, drugs, and rock and roll in spiked goth letters. What the heck is that? He screams. I smile. This is working out just fine. It's a tattoo, I say, all innocent-like. What's with you? He demands. Why are you lisping? I stick out my tongue, and there it is, a perfect little silver stud. Right in the center. Robert starts pumping his arm like he just won $1 million. Yes, you are in so much trouble, he says. Wait till Mom and Dad see this. Dad will kill you, and then Mom will ground you for life. I gave him a big yawn. Who cares? I said. You will when I tell them, he says. They're at the neighbors, and I'm going to go get them. He takes off, and I can hear him yelling, Mom, Dad, all the way down the street. How perfect is this? I slide off the magnetic tongue stud. I wash off the temporary tattoo, and while I wait for my parents to come rushing home, I practice saying, I don't know what Robert is talking about. Maybe he needs counseling. This is going to be great. How I taught my cat to love poetry. Totally lame. English assignment number 27. Create a poem for someone you love, then read it out loud to him or her. Give me a break. Who was I going to write an I love you poem to? Mom or Dad? Boring. Robert? Police. Lisa or Elton? No way. So I wrote a poem for Booboo Kitty. I put a lot into it, and I was very pleased with the way it turned out. But when I read it to her, she just yawned. That was disappointing. Nobody wants to be dissed, even by a cat. I tried again. She turned her back on me. I kept trying. She fell asleep. That's when I had a brilliant idea. I cut the poems into strips and taped them to a hanger. She loved it. She batted at it for an hour. She ripped off little pieces and ate them. That was totally cool. You have to really love a poem to want to eat it. 15 minutes later, it was a Friskies and poetry pile of cat puke. Oddly enough, Mr. Holt didn't seem to appreciate the finished work. Hey, art isn't always pretty. The secret. I guess it's not really a secret anymore because I told Lisa, who told Patty, who told Michael, Robbie, and Rose. Michael told the entire basketball team, and God only knows who those guys told. Robbie just yawned. Rose told LaShondra, Cynthia, and Elton. LaShondra, who, if you can believe it, told her mom, who told LaShondra not to be a gossip, and then told my mom, who casually mentioned it to me at dinner that night. Now everybody knows. I wish I could remember who told me. Happy B-Day, Mom. Dad gave Mom the coolest gift, a hot air balloon ride, and we all got to go. I couldn't wait. I've always wanted to float through the air in a beautiful balloon. On the way there, I teased Robert unmercifully. I told him that he was too little to ride with us, that they wouldn't let a kid his age go because he'd get sick or be scared or fall out. But they let Robert on, and there we were, swinging and floating and swinging and floating, and just as we were swinging over some rich guy's absolutely beautiful swimming pool, I lost it. I'll never hear the end of this. The wall. Revisited. I started taking down my wall this year. Mom said, maybe you're maturing. Yeah? Then why can't I get a motorbike? Dad said, maybe you're learning to get along with people. That made me mad. Are you saying I didn't get along with people before? I yelled. I've always gotten along with everybody. They just haven't gotten along with me. Dad said, okay, you win. I was wrong. And then he went back to reading his book. Robert said, you are a noble adversary, O evil one. Yet soon my powers will defeat you. What an idiot. Anyway, I still have a wall. But now, I've got more company. A note from the author. Pocket poem. It's a good idea to carry a poem in your pocket in case of an emotional emergency. Sometimes I carry around the cremation of Sam McGee. It's guaranteed to cheer me up. I don't know why. At the end, Sam freezes to death and makes a ghostly appearance. It sends a chill through me, but I always feel better. Some days I need a sonnet. When Shakespeare writes to a faraway girlfriend, He writes what I wish I could write. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings that then I scorn to change my state with kings. And some days only a silly little kid's poem will do. A tree toad loved a she toad who lived in a tree. He was a two-toed tree toad, but a three-toed toad was she. You've got to smile when you read that. Yes, it's a good idea to carry a poem in your pocket. It's a little snack for your soul. This video was part of the Poetry Online series brought to you by the Monroe Area Council for the Arts and supported by the East Tennessee Foundation. Thank you.